In a small part of the city of Washington Square, many people came who were interested in art. One of them was from the state of Maine, the other from California. They had met in the restaurant of an 8th Street hotel. Sue and Johnsy, two young artists, who had recently come to New York to make their living. That was in the spring. In November, a cold, unseen stranger, whom the doctors called Pneumonia, visited the city, touching people here and there with his icy finger. Mr. Pneumonia was not a nice old gentleman. A nice old gentleman would not hurt a weak little woman from California. But Mr. Pneumonia touched Johnsy with his cold fingers. She lay on her bed almost without moving, and she looked through the window at the wall of the house next to hers. One morning the busy doctor spoke to Sue alone in the hall, where Johnsy could not hear.
"She has a very small chance,"
he said.
"She has a chance if she wants to live. If people don't want to live, I can't do much for them. Your little lady has decided that she is not going to get well. Is there something that is troubling her?"
She always wanted to go to Italy and paint a picture of the Bay of Naples. Is there anything worth being troubled about? Said Sue.
"It is weakness,"
said the doctor.
"I will do all I know how to do. But when a sick person begins to feel that he's going to die, half my work is useless. Talk to her about new winter clothes. If she were interested in the future, her chances would be better."
After the doctor had gone, Sue went into her own room and cried. Later, trying not to show her sadness, she went into Johnsy's room, whistling. Johnsy's eyes were wide open. She was looking out of the window and counting backwards.
12,
She said, and a little later,
11,
and then,
10 and 9,
and then,
12.
she said, and Sue looked out of the window. What was Johnsy counting? There was only a gray backyard and the blank wall of the opposite house. An old vine, dead at the roots, climbed halfway up the wall. The cold breath of autumn had blown almost all the leaves from the vine until its branches were almost bare. "What is it, dear?" asked Sue.
6,
Said Johnsy very quietly.
They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. It makes my head ache to count them, but now it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now.
5 what, dear? Tell me. Said Sue.
Leaves. When the last leaf of that vine falls, I must go too. I've known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you?
Said Johnsy. The doctor didn't say any such thing. That is pure foolishness. Said Sue. What connection do those old leaves have with your getting well? And you used to love that old vine so much. Please don't be silly. The doctor told me this morning that your chances of getting well soon were excellent. Sue became very panicked hearing this. Sue rushed to the ground floor to seek help from a 60-year-old painter. His name was Bearman. His lifelong dream was to paint a masterpiece. He had no success as a painter. For 40 years, he painted without ever painting a good picture. He made a little money by letting others paint pictures of him. He drank too much. He still talked of his great masterpiece. He believed that it was his special duty to do everything possible to help Sue and Johnsy. Sue told Bearman about the condition of his friend. She refused to eat and continuously looked outside the window. She declares that she would not survive after the fall of the last leaf. Johnsy was sleeping when they both went upstairs. Sue pulled down the curtain and motioned for Bearman to go into the other room. They looked out of the window fearfully at the vine. Then they looked at each other for a moment without speaking. A cold rain was falling, mixed with snow. That night, the old artist decided to do something for Johnsy. Johnsy woke up the next morning. To her surprise, the last leaf survived the storm, and it was clinging to the creeper. It survived another storm in the evening too. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it. And then she called Sue, who was cooking something for her to eat.
"I've been a bad girl, Sue,"
said Johnsy.
"Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how bad I was. It is wrong to want to die. I'll try to eat now."
The doctor came in the afternoon. Sue followed him into the hall outside Johnsy's room to talk to him.
"The chances are good,"
said the doctor.
"Give her good care, and she'll get well. Now I must see another sick person in this house. His name is Bearman. A painter, I believe. He is suffering from pneumonia, too. Bearman is an old, weak man, and he is very ill. There is no hope for him. But we took him to the hospital today. We'll make it as easy for him as we can."
The next day, the doctor said to Sue,
"She's safe. You have done it. Food and care now, that's all."
That afternoon, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay. He put one arm around her. "I have something to tell you," Sue said. "Mr. Bearman died of pneumonia today in the hospital. He was ill for only 2 days. Someone found him on the morning of the first day in his room. He was helpless with pain. His shoes and his clothes were wet and as cold as ice. Everyone wondered where he had been. The night had been so cold and wild. There was a light that he had taken outside, few materials for painting, and green-yellow paint. And look out the window, dear, at the last leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never moved when the wind was blowing?"
"Oh, dear, it is Bearman's great masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell,"
said Johnsy.